what's up YouTube? Dan the Fix-It Man. Got another quick video here for you. I'm going to show you how to change your front brake pads and your front brake rotors on a 2016 Audi Q5. This is a Q5 Premium and it's the 2.0T Quattro, all-wheel drive. Now the first thing I like to do is push the caliper pistons back in. This is a 4-piston caliper, 2 on each side. What we can do is just get a flathead screwdriver and wedge it in between here and pry basically between the old pad and the rotor, and that will push those caliper pistons back in. We'll do that here in just a minute. You could use a flathead screwdriver or a small pry bar. There's also some other tools that you can use. Once you take this off, you can wedge them in there and they'll spread out and push the caliper pistons back in, and that works fine. But before I do that, I like to double check and make sure that the master cylinder has enough space. I just want to make sure that there's enough room because this fluid is going to travel back through the brake line, and make sure that we're not going to overflow the master cylinder and make a big mess. If the brake fluid is getting old or starting to turn dark, it's not a bad idea to open up your bleeder screw here at the top, and you can actually push the old fluid out of the caliper and then just top it off with new fluid once you're done. That's not a bad way to cycle through your brake fluid. In this case, I'm just going to be pushing those back in. We're not going to be opening up our hydraulic system, so there's no reason to bleed the brakes once we're done as well. But let's go up top and make sure we've got enough room in the master cylinder. All right, now this one is not real easy to see or to get to. I'm going to try to light this up. You can kind of see maybe through the grate there. Our fluid level is low, and that's because our brake pads have completely worn down. If you need to add fluid or take fluid out, because this has been, if someone's been topping this off along the way, you can open up the cap here and suck some of the old fluid out, or you can add some once you're done. In our case, I'm not going to take that lid off. I don't like to expose the brake fluid to new air, which has more moisture, and brake fluid absorbs the moisture even in the air, and that causes it to degrade and go bad quicker. But in our case, we're not going to even need to open that up because our fluid is about halfway down and it does still look fairly clean. All right, well, let's go push the caliper pistons back in. Before we do that, I'm just going to disconnect our sensor here, and I'm going to come back over here, and you can see, I'll make sure you see this. You see this little clip right here? All you have to do is pry this out. This is probably easier with just a small flathead screwdriver. It's got like a little peg that fits into this little slot. There we go. Can you see that right there? See this? Once you rotate it past that, it will just come down out of this clip like that. See that? That's how it's installed. And we do need to disconnect that. That's pretty easy. Just press in on the tab. Hard to do with one hand here. Let me see if I can set down the camera. There we go. Just make sure that you fully press this thing down. Oops, I guess you can't see all of that. So here's our connector right here. You see this end? You just have to make sure you fully depress that little tab, and then that will just slide right out. You can see how this is routed behind the brake line there, and it's supposed to be clipped in here, but it's not. I don't know if that just had come out or what, but I don't know if our new pads come with a new sensor here. I know you're supposed to change these out, but if our new pads don't come with it, if this hasn't rubbed on the rotor yet, we might need to reuse that. All right, now with just a couple flathead screwdrivers, or again, you can use a small pry bar. Just kind of have to work your way in sometimes here. Just trying to get in between the pad and the rotor. I guess in between the backing plate here, because it looks like there's just no pad material left. And again, if you have the special tool that spreads these caliper pistons apart, that's fine too. I don't have that particular tool, so once you get it started in there, it's pretty simple. All right, that looks good. All right, now you see these pins right here. We can just punch these out. I'm just going to use this little punch right here. I don't know if it'll fit in there. This says 5/32, but looks like it'll work. That's perfect. Now, when you pull this pin out, this thing is going to, flick forward. This is under tension. Just keep that in mind. I'm just kind of putting my thumb on there like that. There's our pin. We'll set that aside. We'll probably reuse these, but I'm going to clean them up before we put it back in. Same with the bottom pin here. Set those aside and pull out the old brake pads. And like you can see this one, right here was just barely starting to scratch on the rotor. We could probably get away with turning these, or even just putting some pads in if we needed to, but they're pretty glazed, pretty shiny, and there's also a little bit of uneven surface here. So we're just going to change the rotors out too. And let's see how that sensor looks here. Well, it was definitely rubbing on the sensor here too. I'm surprised he wasn't getting a warning or something like that in the on the dash. Maybe it just barely started to score that. But in this case, it was not lit up on the dash yet. So if we absolutely have to, we can reuse these. I just don't want to. I just need to see if we can find one. If we can't find it, we may have to just put that one back in. Passenger side does not have this sensor. It's only on the driver's side. All right, I'm gonna bring you around here real quick, see if we can show this. Now we just need to take off these two large caliper bolts here. These are 21 millimeter. I'm gonna try the mid-torque here, the mid-torque Milwaukee, see if that's strong enough to take them off. If not, I'll maybe be able to get the big one in here. Just don't do any of these bolts here. That just holds the caliper together. All right, let's give it a go. Nice. And here you just want to have one hand on the caliper so it doesn't drop. That's what those look like. Okay, and then we can pull that off. And I'm just going to hang it up here. Just up on the control arm, just out of the way. And then we can get our rotor off. Now the rotor's held in place by rust. No, just kidding. It's actually held in place with a T30 Torx bolt right down here. So this guy right here is just a little impact. Sometimes on these it helps, the same with the Honda screws and everything, it helps if you just give them a little whack just ahead of time. Sometimes the impact of that kind of breaks it loose, but let's just see if we can get it out with this without having to drill it out. This is a T30. Perfect. That's what that looks like. And as I mentioned, these are held on by rust on the hub here. So the rotor remover 9000 comes in handy. This is also called a Tanya Harding. There we go. All right, so we just got back from the parts store and we were able to get the rotor and the pads, and this wear sensor they did not have in stock. So that's been ordered, and hopefully the one we ordered will work. Now before we put the rotor on, we just want to clean off all the rust off of this hub and just all the corrosion so that our new rotor doesn't get stuck. And I'm just going to use a little wire wheel here, and just make sure you wear some safety glasses if you're going to use something like this. This one's a little bit easier to get in there. All right, that's good enough. To put some anti-seize on here would be a great idea. This is all that I have. It's kind of just this little pack of the kind of the copper color, really meant for spark plugs, but I think it will work. It'll at least prevent the rotor from completely seizing on here. There we go. Got a lot more out of it. I'm not so worried about the face here, but just this shoulder seems to be where they really get stuck. That should work. Now these new rotors, they usually come packed in some sort of a oil or a grease, so just to protect them from rusting. So we're just gonna clean that off with just some brake cleaner here. Now when we go to put it on, just line up the Torx screw. We can put that back in now too. All right, we'll just line that up and get it started here. Be careful, don't cross thread that. Probably don't want to start it with a drill, but I did. And there's actually not a Torx spec that I found for this, so we're just gonna basically screw that in and make it snug. Now that rotor was not fully seated on there. Make sure that it is, and then tighten that Torx screw down. Just snug, don't get too crazy on that. Now before I put this caliper back on, I'm just gonna clean this. And these little ledges where the actual edge of the pad rides, just want to clean that as much as possible. Don't breathe this stuff in, it's brake dust. There we go. Kind of the main focus is just to clean off these little ledges where the pads ride. Then we can take off that caliper hook. Don't forget to do that. And then just line that caliper up. And then just kind of reach back there and try to line up those bolts. Just get those started by hand. That's a little tricky. You kind of got to pull up on the caliper and get those lined up. I had to use a deep socket for the top one, but here the shallow socket is working better for the bottom one, so I'm not hitting the edge of the car here. That's, again, 144 foot-pounds. All right, so the pads I'm using are actually made by Wagner. It's an OE style of pad, OEX 1663. It does come with the replacement hold down spring or anti-rattle spring. All right, and these are all the same, all of these pads. Every single one of them is the same, you know, in the sense of this cutout. And then these do have shims on the back. Now, just to make sure these stay nice and quiet, these shims are not glued to the back. So I think what I'm gonna do is pop the shim off and do just a little bit of this Seal Glide brake grease underneath. You don't need much, but it just seems to really help dampen any of the noise and vibration that happens with these. We'll just put that shim back on. That looks good. And I just like to do just a little thin layer where the caliper pistons make contact with the back of the pad. And then on this one also, since the brake pads are riding on that metal shoulder right there, just a thin layer of grease on that little edge of the pad. And then these should just drop right in, like so. They're supposed to drop right in. Yeah, that's the same width as the old one. Let's just double check that real quick. Yeah, the old one fits right in. And that happens sometimes when you use aftermarket. They don't always slip right in like they're supposed to. All right, now that's just a very gentle tap of the hammer. You can see it's not really wedged in there or anything. Yeah, this will still work. All right, now these were kind of stiff the first go around, but there we go. What I did is I just kind of tapped it. I think there was a little bit of coating on the new pad, a little bit of this, I don't know if that's a galvanized type of paint or something, but for corrosion. But you can see these do work. They're not bound up in there. So same thing, I'm just gonna do a little bit of grease underneath the shim here, just a thin layer. Reason for that is really just dampening vibration. It just seems to help. Prevents a lot of squeals and squeaks. And a little bit on the outside there. Just a thin layer. You really don't need much. And then just again, we do need to do the ends. That first pad really didn't want to slide in so easily. Let's see if this one will do better. Oh, there we go. Slid right in all the way without any issues at all. It's gone a little too far. We'll have to push that back out, and you can do it from just reaching beyond over here. Now we got to put these pins back in, but they're real dirty, so we're going to clean them up a little bit with this wire wheel. Well, that's not perfect, but that's a little bit cleaner. We'll just wipe these off. Yeah, I can see how someone would just replace these if they do get real pitted and real dirty. And start with the top one here. It just has to go underneath that little hook. Just line it up and give it a tap. It kind of bottoms out there. Let's clean up the other one. Just kind of resting it here so I can hit it better with the wire brush. Kind of hard to clean that off, but I think that's good enough. Now here you do have to push down on this spring while we line up the next one. Push that all the way through. Just make sure that those are all the way bottomed out there. That looks good. All right, now again, we have one of these on order, but if you had to use this or reuse this in a pinch, you just kind of pry between the pad and that thing and the little sensor, and it should just pop out. It's kind of stuck underneath the shim here too. Let's see if we can get it to pop out. There we go. As you can see, it's rubbed on that wire. So I think what happens is once that wire gets rubbed through or cuts through, then that puts an indicator on in the car and lets you know that your brakes are worn down. Since I don't have the new sensor yet, just for the sake of finishing the video, I'm just going to show you how to put this back in. I mean, basically you just clip it right down through here, press it in, it snaps almost in place, and then bring this around behind the brake line. I'm going to take this right back out, and when my new part gets here, I'll change this out again. But for the sake of showing you how to do it, just going to reconnect this here. See that plug just plugs right in. Hopefully you're able to see this, not just my hands blocking it. Just push it in until it clicks, and then over here, this you just put in same way it came out. Just slide it up and then rotate this around. Hard to show because my fat fingers are in the way here, but you just pull that little plastic piece back and spin it around until it locks in place. Well, in this wire here, this was also supposed to go down in this little channel, but there you go. Kind of just tucks down like that. That's pretty much it. Like I said, we're gonna wait for that sensor to get here, and then we'll swap it out with a new one. For the sake of showing you the video and how I did this, at least, you should be good to go. Now, before you drive off, it's important to step on the brake pedal a few times. Don't press it all the way to the floor. Just press it down about halfway several times. And what that will do is push these caliper pistons back out up against the rotor where they need to be. Also, just remember to double check your master cylinder fluid level before you head out. Just top that off if needed. Hope you liked the video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you don't mind. That does help me out. I'll get a link in the description to some of the parts and tools used in the video as well. Thanks so much for watching, and good luck. All right, so here's the next day. We ended up getting this kind of late. So here's our brake sensor. This is not the OEM, of course. This is a made in China version, but it does look the same. The connector looks the same. So we're gonna give it a try here. So I'm gonna swap this out real quick. I might just show this footage at the end so you guys can know that I actually did change it. Remember, just pry that, twist it out, and then push the clip in. I'm just gonna use that little part of the car to push that in. Comes around the brake line. Hopefully this works and doesn't give us any weird codes or anything. It should be a pretty simple part here. The connector does look the same or very similar. And same with the part that goes into the brake pad. You can see, of course, the difference is the wear here. So let's give that a try. Looks like that'll work. Just carefully push that in place. It's like a little metal spring in there. There we go. Don't damage this shield right there, but there we go. Then come around the brake line here. Snap this together like that, and then we just slide it in and rotate it around until it clips in place, and you're good to go.